I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Malisa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
How early is it there? Like 7 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, lucky for you on a Monday. When you agreed to 2 hours earlier, I was like, really? Because it couldn't be me. Could not fucking be me.
Well, so I get up at 5:30, so that does give me time to ease into my day. Also, it's you. I wouldn't agree to a call this early with just anybody. So
Yeah. Well, and like that's kind of how I think about it too, because I'm like, well, even if we were to do it earlier for me, I would know it would wake me up. So you know
yeah,
what I
people,
mean?
if it's something that's like requiring like a lot of mental effort or whatever, I would have been like, no. So I am
Yeah.
like careful. Like technically I don't like to start my calls until 8 a.m. But like, yeah, if it's you or something that's like, yeah, actually like refreshing and making me feel better, then yeah, I'll do.
Right, right. I'm the same way. And I was contemplating going back to sleep this morning between the time Charlie left for school and just for a little while. And then it took me a while to fall asleep. And then I woke up later than I wanted to. I was like, that's weird. Did I push like snooze or something? Um, so then I was like, great, I'm groggy, but I've been drinking my little energy drink, and then my son made me laugh. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. Well, what's going on in your world?
Um,
By the way, I don't think I've gotten to tell you this. I know you said that your pink background is like
it's fake, yeah.
fake, but damn it, those pictures are so good.
Thanks. Well, it's funny because, yeah, like the day that we did the photo shoot, it was kind of cloudy, which I know is good for my lighting, but I don't think it really did justice for the background. Even though it was like greenery or whatever, I was like, I don't like this. And have you ever done in Canva, like you can have like an AI generated background?
No, I've never done that.
Well, in my experience, maybe I'm not using the right prompts, but in my experience, like it's usually really shitty. But I was like, I didn't really know what else to do. So I'm like, let me just play around with it. And I think I got that like on the fourth or fifth try. And I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah. I really like it too. It's pink is good.
I
I
think it
really
made
liked
like
it.
the flowers in the dress pop or something. I don't know
Yes.
what it was because I feel like I normally don't look good with pink because my skin has like a pink tint to it. So I think it like
Yeah.
accentuates the pink in my skin usually. But yeah, for some reason that ended up looking really good.
Yeah, I really like it. And
Oh,
I
thank
like all
you.
the promo you've been doing too.
Oh, thank you.
I guess that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's new? How's your people pleasing thing coming along?
Well, I just went live. I haven't really been like announcing it because I put it out on have you heard of Teachable, the platform?
Uh-uh.
But anyway, I put it out on Teachable and I was like getting ready to announce it. I had already recorded some reels and stuff. And they were like, apparently, since I have a new account with them, they were like, yeah, your payments are on hold for 14 days and we're reviewing your account. Like it actually made it seem like I may not be like quote unquote approved. So I was like, I don't want to be like promoting this if they're going to keep my money and maybe
Yeah.
not even promote my account. So it's kind of a soft launch as of right now. And I've been emailing customer service and they're not very responsive. So I'm like, maybe this is my sign to change platforms. So we'll see.
Well, that sucks. All
Yeah,
that
because I was
work.
all excited and I'm like, why are
Yes.
you doing this?
Yeah. I'm like, rude.
Well,
I
especially,
mean,
like,
sometimes it
do
is a
this
sign to
when
move a
I
different
set up
direction.
my account. Like, don't wait until I actually, like, have a product on there, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't have immediately gotten an email being like, "Hey, so here's the thing."
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So, that was
probably
weird.
because then you wouldn't be invested in their platform.
That's what I thought. I'm so jaded, but, like, I always, like, assume, like, everyone's just out for profits and they don't
I
care
mean,
about
they
me.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That
that was my assumption. They didn't care
Yeah,
until I
what
had
did?
something that I was selling.
I once switched platforms on something because of something similar, but then I ended up hating the platform I used too. I don't even remember what I did my membership on, but it was so cumbersome. It made the whole thing miserable to where like I ended up just quitting the membership because it was just too much. Like
Was it
upload like
was it
creating
Shopify?
content. No, it was something.io.
Oh,
I
'cause
don't think it was
Shopify is pretty
membership.io
complicated.
because that's something I took some courses on, but it was something like that. It might have been membership.io, but whatever it was, I was not happy with it. I was like, ugh. Some of these sites, and then, we've talked about how I'm kind of staying away from school, and I think you are too, but
Yeah.
because I don't want another fucking group chat. I hate
Yeah,
a group
and
chat.
it's like it's advertised as, like, community and this and that, but again, it's not community. It's about serving whoever's hosting the community. It's like serving their purpose. And
Mhm.
usually it's like coaches trying to get clients, or like there are a few where I do think they're trying to build some kind of a community, but it still feels very superficial and not really community based.
Yeah. Boo. Well, that's why I'm like, eek when someone's really like hard pressuring on join my school. I'm like, someone asked me about theirs and I said, listen, I'm sorry, I'm avoiding that platform. Like, I love you, I support your work, but like,
Yeah.
I'm avoiding that platform for as long as possible. So, no.
Plus, it's like, how many communities can you realistically be a part of at one time? For me,
Right.
it's one. And even then,
Yeah.
I like to branch out and, like, is that a Gemini thing? But, like, I like to have, like, different
We like
groups.
variety.
Yeah, like, I like
Yeah.
to be connected to different areas, like, I'm not, like, so exclusive, and that's why I kind of clash with the local community because 'cause they're, like, very, like, cultish and, like, "This is our community, and this is our community," and because 'cause I'm actually part of a women entrepreneurs group, and I think they get offended that I don't go to every single little thing, but it's like, "I like you guys, but you aren't my life, I have other things going on."
Not to mention, they're not all sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I was like,
Because and that's another thing, because they haven't been supportive of me, and granted, it's probably because I don't show up 100%, but it's like, is that the requirement? Because then it feels transactional. Because it's like, I would support you even though we don't talk every day. I do support you even though we don't talk every day.
right, right. Well, and see, okay, so this I feel like really ties into the thing I've been thinking about so much over the last week, particularly even yesterday. But I've been thinking so much about that idea about making our outsides match our insides, like that's our natural response to our environment, but that if we become intentional about our inner world, then our outer world reflects that. And like, which one do you want to choose? And I've been thinking about it in terms of, well, a few different things, but even like income, like trying not to freak out about like when the money that people donated to me is gone, which will be soon,
Yeah.
like what that's going to look like. And I was like, Melissa, if you believe this principle, which I do with my whole heart, that my outside is just a reflection of my inside, then you do have a belief somewhere that you have to work on. Like, you have
Yeah.
to work on a belief. And it's not that I haven't been working on it, but I mean, obviously in the last month, that hasn't been my fucking, focus, but that's what I was actively working on before, Jake. And I'm just like, okay, what is the belief? And I still think there's a little bit of the punishment versus reward belief,
Yeah.
like some karmic force, instead of me creating, being the creator of my reality, that God, the God
Yeah.
I was raised to believe in, even though I don't believe in that, it's there. And so just remembering, like, you're not being punished for anything that ever happens in your life. Like, that's none of this is about punishment or reward, unless you want to view your outer world being this beautiful place as a reward for your internal belief system. But I think that what made me think of that in terms of your group is, I think that groups like that become so cultish and weird because of that weird inner belief stuff. And then their outer world
Mhm.
starts to reflect that. Somewhere in their inner world, they were already believing certain people, I have to watch out for people, and not everybody has my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And if you have my best interest at heart, it looks like this, and
Yep.
it only looks like this. And how guilty have you and I even been
Oh, for
of the,
sure.
it looks like this. If you care about me, it looks like this.
Yeah.
That's been the crux of my fucking Leo moon. That has been the single biggest issue of my life, is if you love me, it looks like this. And
Yeah.
this equals perfect also.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
just feel
yeah.
like that's the whole thing, you know?
And the funny thing is, because I 100% agree with what you're saying, and the funny thing is, I don't think they really understand what I do because a lot of local people, like, they're not doing true inner work. They do, like, the spiritual bypassing type
Right.
stuff, so they're not even aware of enough to, like, go through that thought process.
Right. Which, this is what's so confusing to me about spiritual communities who are so big on the bypassing and just like and I'll even call it, because they're doing some inner work. It's just the
Yeah.
spiritual part, but they're not anchored in to this human experience, which is
Yeah.
so important. But I think that's what's confusing to me is like, you're the people I learned about creating my reality from.
Yeah.
It wasn't my therapist friends. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it
Oh, I
wasn't
know.
the therapy community. So, like, what are you doing? But they just keep thinking something totally different than what is real. And that's why that is a constant battle I face too, is like, anchor in. You're a human first. You're a human first. So every time I think, well, if I was as spiritual as I needed to be, I wouldn't be having this response. I go, no, you're a human first. Like,
Yeah.
you're allowed to have that because you're a human and that's what a human would feel. You came to this planet to have these feelings that you will never have in a different dimension.
This is so validating because yesterday I was planning my content for this week and I wanted to do 2 YouTube videos. And one I wanted to do about like science and spirituality. We're usually talking about the same things. We're just using 2 different terms. And I think science is like too grounded. And I think spirituality is like too woo woo. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think and I wanted to make a video about, like, what it would sound like to blend the 2, and I was like, "People aren't gonna get it, blah, blah, blah," but I think this just confirms that we need more of those, so I think I'm gonna do that this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Should gonna write that down.
And I think what would stop a person from even having that kind of conversation or being an educator on those topics is just like comparing to the other information that's out there. But
Mhm.
I just try to remember, like, there's someone on step one who's
Yeah.
just looking for like some basic information. I think that our call to spirituality is a natural call. I mean, it was something I felt led to even in the midst of being super duper religious. I was always called to astrology,
Yeah.
always. Like, I wanted to read my little horoscope. I wasn't allowed to, but, because demons and whatnot. And I wanted, like, I remember, and I think I may have told you this, but James Van Prague was the first medium I ever saw on TV on Oprah. And I was obsessed with the idea that he could talk with the dead,
Yeah.
and that has stuck with me my whole life. Like, I've always been called to the spiritual, but I think we all are in our own way.
Mhm.
But what is spirituality, And so
Right.
for someone at step 1, especially if they are deconstructing from a religion, but even if not, like, my oldest son is open to the idea now, but not, like, anywhere near what we are, right? But,
Yeah.
like, people like him would love how the science works with that, and simplified, but also not too sciencey, but not too woo-woo. Because I don't mind the woo-woo. I've gotten, like, so used to it. At first I did. Like, the first time I was told, "You pick your parents, you pick your experience," I was triggered as fuck. I mean, I was
Yeah,
like, "No, no, I didn't
same.
pick this shit," you know? But because I was so latched on to the stuff that resonated, I just decided right then, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And as I've moved through different teachers and whatever, that's where I've gotten is like, okay, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, great. There's still some stuff that I'm like, you might have missed the mark. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I'm open. Whereas 20 years ago, I was pretty not open because I was so afraid.
same. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that actually is helpful for me to like how to frame it.
Yeah, I love that you're going to talk about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to talk more about that too. Just, well, it's a really big, like, center point in my life right now. I think it's normal whenever someone goes through such a huge loss to want to lean into something.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, for a minute, like, I had to believe. I think I told you this on our last conversation, like, this was his time. But as I've, like, really immersed myself in spiritual talk this last week, I'm like, "Okay, I was just having to, like, latch onto that so that I didn't have to blame myself,"
Mhm.
or whatever, or believe in a purpose, and I still think that Jake's life still had meaning and purpose, whether this was an early exit or not,
Yeah.
and I do think that he still has impact and just all that, and that I don't have to, like, be so sure about anything,
Yeah.
But I am sure about the fact that it is an experience I was going to have to go through no matter what, you
Yeah.
know? Like, we fucking signed some shitty ass contracts, I guess, but
I don't know if this will be helpful for you or not, so I'll just say it, but I'm part
yeah.
of this intuition group, and I've been part of it for this is like the 6th year, going into the 6th
Oh,
year.
wow.
And we have explored mediumship like a handful of times. I don't like it because in the group, we do like breakout rooms where we do reads on each other basically to practice our intuition. But in the mediumship sessions, we bring a picture of our loved ones. So it's a breakout room. It would be like this, like say you and I are in a breakout room because it's like 2 to 3 people. And then for the mediumship sessions, we actually like read the person on the other side. And usually there's a picture. And I personally don't like it when we do mediumship because there is so much regret and like heaviness on the other side. Because at the beginning, the first few times I read for other people, there was just all I could feel the energy of the other person with all this regret and it's really heavy and I don't like it. But anyway, and one of the mediumship sessions that we did, it was just me and this other lady and her niece had passed away and she was in her early 20s and she showed me her picture and it was this young girl and there was like no heaviness or regret at all. It was actually this very like big and bright energy. So I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting." So I like read into her energy and the message that I received was that like if you and I were to pass away right now, like your mom and dad and Jake are on the other side. My dad, my grandparents are on the other side. So my point is we have people to like greet us and welcome us in. But
Right.
when children die, like their parents are still alive, a lot of times their grandparents are still alive, so they don't really have anyone that they recognize on the other side. So her niece, like her purpose was to go to the other side and be this person who could like welcome in all of the kids. And I was like, that is like so profound because her purpose is actually on the other side, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's like, and my point is, like, we don't really think that deep, and I never would have, like, thought of that on my own. It was just this message that I was getting from her niece. So there's all these reasons that I don't think we'll ever even understand, and you'll drive
Right.
yourself crazy. And I know, like, we're overthinkers, so I'm like,
Right. Well,
I
and it's like just those quiet moments. And at first, I think it was just your brain's just capable of so much. And I
oh,
was
yeah.
just trying to ground a thought into something. You know what I don't know
And
if that
that's what I
makes
mean.
sense.
I get it because 'cause you're just like Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hate it.
Well, and
I don't even
even,
know how to
like,
explain it.
I talked about this on the solo episode that I released today, but, um
I'm glad you're doing
well,
more of
because the
those.
algorithm now on TikTok is if you watch one video, that's all you get fed, right?
Yeah.
So I have watched so many spiritual videos, but one of the things nobody said this, it was just like a infographic with music playing, but it was like, "You manifest what you're afraid of."
Mhm.
And then I was like, "Oh my god," because I was afraid of this Jake's whole life. So
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's my fault." Like, I was having just the most
Mhm.
horrible time with this. And then what I did was I realized, like, okay, because then, of course, the next step is, well, I'm having anxiety about the rest of my family, so are they all gonna die now too?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, honey, here's what we know about thoughts like this, is that you're feeling unsafe in your body. Like, you haven't connected well enough the last couple of days with your body. Like, you've just been kinda going through the motions. That's fine, but now that's what your thoughts are gonna reflect, is what you've been doing. And so I just like I was in the shower and I was just doing a ton of just like comforting myself, like reminding me I'm safe, like all your needs are met right now. Your family's safe right now. Like you can't worry about the future, but right here, right now, everything is fine. Because
Yeah.
also like in that thought about inner world versus your outer world in terms of finances too. It's like, and all
Mhm.
your financial needs are met right now. Like you can't live in that what if place. That's not even the place you want to live. I've
Right.
worked very hard on being right here, right now, 1 minute at a time for the last year and a half. Like not just since Jake. Like that's been the goal because I used to live in my head. And so I just recognize like, okay, you're feeling unsafe. Like that's fine. That's a normal I have so many signs that my nervous system's dysregulated. Like I'm having tummy issues and just kind of overall blood. And I'm like, okay, we need to walk more. We need to eat better. We need to do, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
know what I need to do. So I'm going to do those things. But I think it's really easy to let your brain go, "Blah, blah, 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 blah," And so I'm just trying really hard not to do that. But yeah, I think purpose means so many different things. And all I know is that we were meant to do this life together in some capacity. And
Yeah.
I actually it's funny that you said what you said because I had a thing the other day where I was crying because I was like, well, my parents died before he was born. He did know my grandma,
Yeah.
and she's gone. So I was like, she could have, they all could have greeted him. But I was like sad because I was like, who was there?
Yeah,
And
because he still
then
doesn't really know them.
right. Um, from everything I've heard though, like they recognize because I'm sure of my mom being in our soul family before. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure of that. Possibly my dad too, but I know my mom was. Um, but I thought to myself, well, like Jake will be there to greet his siblings, and that's important. Like,
Mhm.
and I think that was definitely meant to be.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you said what you said because that was maybe even just yesterday. I was thinking that they will get him to greet them.
Oh. Also, on the topic of intuition versus, or you were just talking about manifestation. Like, I have thought this my entire life and then it happened. I struggle with intuition versus manifestation because my point of view on that, knowing what I know about you, I think you're also very intuitive. So you just kind of had that inner knowing. So there's also that,
Hmm.
like, it could have been an intuitive hit, not that you were manifesting it.
Right, and I think so too. Like I think I just knew.
Yeah.
Kind of like I got that download when I was 14 years old that my parents were gonna die. Like, I was
See,
just
that's what I
standing there
mean.
and I got that down like, and then my dad died the next year. So, like, and I had a dream about my dad dying in the manner in which he died. The actual physical, because he died of an overdose, but, like, his heart stopped, and
Okay.
I had a dream about him dying of heart-related thing almost every night
Oh,
from
really?
the time I got that download, basically, standing in the fucking student store at school all the way until, like, it was a lot. So, yeah, I think I am intuitive, and so I mean, which is a stupid thing to say, we both know I am, but yeah,
Yeah.
so I
But
I
I'm just
agree,
saying
I
sometimes
agree.
it's hard to distinguish between the 2.
Yeah, which I think anxiety has a role in. And so then you get into this like, shit, is that intuition or anxiety, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But I think it's different too, because there are some things you just know. Like, this is a thing now, this is a double-edged sword, if I'm being 1,000% honest. But sometimes I will just know something about a person without any basis for knowing it. It used to, I used to look for, like, I guess in some ways I tapped into people's energies on purpose,
Yeah.
but I did do it because I wanted to keep them at a distance. Like, that's how I, like,
Mhm.
when I would meet people for the first time, I'm like, probably I'm not gonna like you. Let's see, you know? But I remember a person in particular where I was like, and I just knew really weird shit about them to where I was like, I have no proof of this, but you do not want to be around that person. Like, it just, I just could tell. Some of it was the fact that, like, the energy was so similar to people I had known with that same energy.
Mhm.
You kind of know those people, you know? And some of it was just hypervigilance, but I don't I don't believe that hypervigilance happens on accident in young childhood. Like,
Oh,
y
yeah.
your subconscious is being programmed for a reason, and what you do with that information later matters, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then I'm ashamed of it too, because Brian used to be like, "You think negative shit about like, you just, da, da, da," and I'm like, and I agree, but am I w wrong very often? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Sure, but I mean, if you wanna see the worst in people," and I'm like, "That's fair, I guess."
I know. I see, I'm more like you, so it's hard to, like,
I
agree with
know,
him, but I get what he's saying.
I know, it's so hard because I'm like, I guess the difference between me then and now is, I'm not triggered by their energy very often anymore.
Mm.
So it doesn't send me into a whole thing where I'm layering the protection immediately. It's
Yeah.
just more like, from a place of love and compassion, I decide whether or not I want to continue to share energy with that person, but I'm not gonna sit around making a lot of judgments the way I would have before. I'm just gonna decide whether or not they stay or go in my energy.
That
Whereas
makes sense.
before, I could really, but I think it's because I felt so much shame around it that I would sit and judge and whatever to try
Mhm.
to, justify my intuitive feelings about them.
Oh, yeah, that
But I
makes
think it's
sense.
because of listening to people like Brian say I'm a negative person. And I'm like, well, I was, and that was fair. But at the same time, I was also fucking right. So, yeah, what about that? That's got to count for something.
Yeah, because it is hard when you're just going off your vibe. Because how do you explain that to someone else? Like, "Oh, I
Right.
don't I don't like them because it just doesn't feel right."
Although, like, my kids taught me this. It's not like a new word, but Jake and Bryson would always say this, and Bryson says it still. He said it the other day, I started laughing. He was like, "I don't know, they're just off-putting." And I'm like, I love it. I think it's the most hilarious word, but I'm like, "Yes, the vibe is off. Like, that counts."
It does count, I think so. But, like, to continue to hold that against them, yeah, that's probably a little bit unfair, but, yeah, always listen to your gut.
Yes. Well, and I think I got so strong about that too, just like, because of the times when I got the vibe that a male wasn't safe and then gaslit myself and said, "You're just thinking that because you've had a history of sexual abuse." And then guess what? They ended up not being safe.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time in shame around that too, because
Mhm.
in some ways, I guess I was blaming myself for the interactions that I had with males who ended up being unsafe. And I mean, that's not your fault because you're trusting. Like, you know? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it sucked to experience those things, but also, like, you're a young woman, like, or a young kid or whatever. So I think that was part of it too. And so I really built this defensive system up. Like, if I even get the slightest bit of a vibes off, you're off. So I do think that's a difference now too. I don't feel unsafe in the presence of somebody whose vibe is off. I just don't feel like I want to hang out with them.
Yeah, but that's the essence of self-trust and creating your own safety. Because when you have that, you don't need someone else to feel safe or unsafe because you have that within
That's so
yourself.
true. Yes, I love that. Yeah, and that's the thing that I keep coming back to over and over is you create the safety. You're
Yeah.
the container for every ounce of safety. So what do you need to feel safe?
And that's why going back to what you were saying before, just being so mindful of how your body feels and then being like, okay, I need to take a walk. I need to do this and making sure that you're safe within your own body.
Yes. Yeah, and taking care of the physical container is the number one priority. And I need to remember that. Here's where I'm having problems with food. If I wait too long to eat, then I just have to eat whatever because it's like I'm so fucking hungry,
Yeah.
I'm agitated, I have to, like, take
Because you're
care of the
hangry.
agitation
Yeah.
first. Yes. And then I end up like, fried food is a no-go right now. Like, my stomach is not in a good place, which was my first clue. Like, I that it's what it took for me to notice, like, "Oh, a little dysregulated," but, like, it hurts. Last night I
Mhm.
ate soup, and it did not hurt my stomach. So I'm kinda trying to figure out which of the foods like, can I eat potatoes, or do they have to be sweet pota I'm trying to just figure out what I
Like
can tolerate
rice.
right now, you know? Yeah, because when I Googled, like, Greek nutrition, like, to help your nervous system, a lot of it was, like, stay away from white rice
Oh,
and
really?
potatoes and stuff. Yeah, just sweet potatoes and this and eat spinach, which I love those foods, but I want rice and
Yeah.
I want
Why I wonder why
bread.
they said rice is my go-to, like, if I have an upset stomach or if I, like, like, if I'm too anxious or whatever, because sometimes certain emotions, like, you just don't feel hungry, but you know you need to eat, like, rice
Yes.
is my go-to, so I wonder why they're saying no rice.
Because have you ever heard of the brat diet?
Yeah,
So
banana.
rice
Oh,
can
rice.
constipate you.
Oh.
That's the only they were saying when your digestive system's in a fucked up place, it's not gonna process things as well, and
Yeah,
so it
but if
can
you
get
can
clogged.
tolerate it, I get it, but
Well, constipation something I can struggle with anyway, but I don't I when I had, someone made us this really good long grain rice with, like, chicken in it and whatever right after Jake died, and I tolerated that fine. So, like, I think it's fine, but I'm just gonna be, like, careful about how much at first, and I think if I pair it with, like, some cooked spinach in there
yeah.
too, just to keep the fiber going, and I'm making sure I have, like, fruit. I have not started any of this yet. We have to go to
Or
the
even,
grocery
like,
store.
beans, because that I feel like that would be,
I
like
wanna go back to my dense bean salads. I was doing really good about those until, like, I ran out of, like, the container, and then I didn't make any more, and then Jake died, and it was like, "Ah, fuck it." But so I love beans, and they really I read that they have a chemical in it that does so much good stuff for your blood sugar, and I was noticing a difference when I was eating a bunch of beans. So I wanna do that too, but I
if
just need
you're
to go to the grocery store.
yeah, if you're on TikTok, this was, like, over a year ago, but I feel like people still talk about it. There was this girl who made this it was, like, 15 bean soup or whatever, but basically you just throw a bunch of beans into, like, an Instapot or crock pot. So it seems pretty easy to make. I haven't made it.
Yeah, and I love soup a lot. Yeah, so I'll make soups, and I really like the salad. Um, yeah, I just need to stay away from fried food right now. My stomach is just really
Yeah.
unhappy. Like, whenever I ate it was about 4 days ago that I started to notice, like, "Oh," and then I went to sleep with my stomach hurting really bad. I woke up with it hurting really
Yeah.
bad. So I've been trying to do better about what I eat since then. Not great, but, like, I chose soup last night, and I had crackers with it, and it didn't, like, really upset my stomach.
Crackers are
So
good too.
yeah, I'm just trying not to get too, like, constipated too, but that I wasn't having that issue. So it was really bizarre, and I haven't had, like, pain like this in my stomach in a long time, so I was just like, "What the fuck?" But I knew, I was like, "You know what's up." And also, like, even if you think you're doing okay, like, obviously, that was a huge trauma. Like, it's not
Yeah.
gonna go away in a month's time. So I have to, like, tend to I need to get some bone broth and stuff too, but yeah, I just wanna be more intentional about, like, taking care of the vessel that
Also,
is the
how is your
container for all
sleep?
that. Sleep's pretty decent. Charlie started school again last week, so I have to wake up a little earlier. but I'm taking naps whenever I need a nap. My energy is just kind of low.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I'm sleeping quite a bit actually. Um, but like last night, like I'm getting like a full night's sleep. I was asleep by 11 and did wake up at 6:30 with her. But then I went back to sleep. So like, yeah, I think sleep's okay. I mean, it probably could always be a little better, but I am doing naps when I need to. But it's just more like if I were to move more, that would be so helpful because then I'm exerting some energy to be able to,
Yeah.
like, go to sleep, you
It's
know?
hard to get into that momentum, though. Did
Mhm.
you stop going to the gym?
Yes.
I could see that,
Yeah.
though.
Well, and Bryson wanted to go back this week, but he's still recovering from his hand surgery, so,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
he
how
can't
did
lift
that go?
weights. Good. It was quick and easy, and recovery's okay. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of use of the hand yet, but it's, you know, getting better every day, so he can't lift weights yet, so we're supposed to go on a walk later today, and I'm excited because it's sunny and
Yeah, fresh air is always good.
yeah, because I haven't spent any time outside, like, at all, except for, like, we went to a quick trip to the cemetery one day. Other than that, getting in and out of the car, that's it. I have not been outside. I need
Yeah,
to be outside bad. But it's really bright today, so I'm excited to go on a walk.
perfect.
And I did get new shoes. Because we had said we wanna start, like, doing couch to 5K again. Because I don't wanna be a long distance runner ever again, but I do wanna start doing, like, more 5Ks. Because
Yeah.
first of all, it gives me something to do on the weekend if I sign up for a race. Because I just don't have a lot to do, and I'm bored as fuck, but also I don't have a lot of energy to do most things. I've
Yeah,
been knitting, but it's a weird thing where I'm like, I wanna do something, but the thought of planning something is
yeah.
just blah, you know? Like, I have nothing to do, but I also am like, "What should we do?" "Oh, okay, nothing, cool." We went to a birthday party over the weekend, that was, like, the highlight of my week, so
Well, that's
but there was
something,
kids
though.
there playing that pie in the face game.
What is that?
So,
Please tell me
you
it's real
spin
pies.
It's supposed to be, but you don't like to have multiple turns, you just use whipped cream.
Oh.
So, they spray the thing with whipped cream, and these are little kids doing this, like, the birthday girl was 6 years old, and then
Oh,
one of
that's
the fucking kids who
hilarious.
did it, he couldn't have been older than 2, and he was the most angelic little child, like, happy, sweet, like, he was so funny. So, I was really, like, surprised that he saw somebody do this and wanted to do it, and I was kinda like, this is gonna be the first thing that breaks his little spirit because he's so sweet. But also his face when the whipped cream like came because you spin the wheel and then you click the thing as many times as it tells you to, and if it comes up during that time, it does. Well, he
Oh,
wanted it to. He was like, do it again, do it again. So they just kept clicking it until it whatever. The look on this child's face when it was so funny. He was so stunned. And then the birthday girl, when she did it, the first time she looked stunned too, and I don't think it was her first time. I mean, it was at her house and, like, it was their
yeah.
game. But then the second time, she was so pissed. She threw it on the ground. I died laughing. I was crying laughing because these kids were just like, "What the fuck?" It just wasn't what they were expecting, I guess, but it was so great for me. So that was a huge highlight for me. Like, last weekend, I hung out with a friend and we knitted, and she, like, made a little brunch charcuterie board, which was so good.
Wait,
But, like, I just
so
don't have a lot to do.
what you knit?
I've been finger knitting a blanket.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's this really chunky yarn. I saw all these hoes on TikTok do it, so I was like, "I can do this," and it's so easy.
Oh,
It's so
really?
easy. Yes,
Why
like,
does it look so complicated?
oh, it's not at all. Like, you literally are just, like after you do the first chain, which is literally just you pull a loop through there, pull a loop through that loop, and you keep going,
Okay,
and then you, start where they go up instead of to the side, because that's just your beginning, and literally, you're just taking the yarn and pulling it through the loop to create a new loop over
okay.
and over, and that's it. Like, I'm probably halfway done with the blanket now. I'm doing
Oh,
pink and white. I'm gonna end up having to buy more yarn because 'cause I've made it a little bigger than I was anticipating, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, now I understand through doing this what they're doing with the needles," because Angie, I don't know if I told you about this, but during my little mental health crisis, I was doing things for joy, right?
Mhm.
I bought all these fucking little emotional support, like, animals to crochet yourself.
Okay.
Bitch, no. It was so hard.
See,
I
I think
could
that's
not
what I'm
figure it out.
thinking of. Yeah.
I was crying my ass off, like, "I can't believe I can't do this,"
It's not good
just
for your
crying
mental
all the time.
health.
It was not good. It was not good. And so now though that I understand what they're doing, I'm like, "Oh, you're just pulling it through this," and I do think the needles, like, with the really thin yarn are a little harder because it's hard to see the hole to put it through and stuff, but I at least understand the concept of what's happening now because that's all I'm doing with my fingers is the same thing they're doing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, I could do that." And I'm learning what the terms are 'cause that's the other thing, they're like, "Dude, 9 chains and then this kinda stitch and then this," and I was like, "I don't fucking know what any of this means, what?"
Yeah, it's like that's why I like instructional videos, if
Yeah,
they're
and
done
I
well.
tried to find some, and I will say TikTok much better place for as a search engine for that
Really?
stuff than YouTube is, yes.
I know sometimes YouTube videos are like, "Oh, you just do this, this, and this, and then it's perfect."
That's all
And
I could find.
yeah, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, I would rewind and rewind. Oh my god, you should have I literally threw the 2 that I was working on away, and then I had a student because I was still working at the school who, her sister who had already left our school to go to a bigger school, um, they were in the car rider line one time, and she was like, "Miss Hebner, do you have any yarn? I'm learning how to" I was like, "Baby, I got lots of yarn. I'll see you tomorrow with it." And I threw it all in a bag and gave it all to them, and I was like, "I never wanna fucking touch yarn again." So I was kinda nervous about this finger knitting thing, but it's literally like, I am not, like, natural at anything crafty. It's not who I am, and it is easy as fuck. And my friend who was doing it with me was like, "Wow, this is so easy." I'm like, "I know, I'm so happy it's so easy because it's gonna be so pretty." And, I can be the person who makes people gifts.
I was just gonna say that. This seems like a nice habit or a hobby.
Yes! Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm not doing it as often as I could, but it's because I got these dogs and, whatever, and they wanna jump on shit, but I wanna build, like, more into a routine where I'm doing it, but it's also basketball season, so we're watching lots of basketball around here.
Okay. See, I
Well,
don't
'cause
know anything
I
about
joined a
sports.
fucking fantasy league with my kid this year, and so he wants me to take it seriously, so I have to, pay attention and watch the games and all the things, so,
Well,
like,
that
okay.
also gives you something to do, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and we spend so much time together doing that too, so
Oh, that's
I
nice.
don't mind it, but it's also like, wow, there's a lot of basketball games.
I
A
know,
lot.
there really are, because it would be impossible to watch them all, right?
Yes,
Because
it
they
would be.
overlap even.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll be switching back and forth.
Mm.
Well, I have someone who's gonna be hopping on soon. Do you have anything else?
I do not. I was mostly just curious about how you were doing.
I think I'm getting in shittier moods more often, but I think that that is related to the not moving and the food.
Mm,
And reality setting in a little bit, like, I remember more often, like, I have this thought a lot more often, like, "He's really not coming back, huh?" Like, that
mhm.
happens much more often. But then in other ways did I tell you I had a dream about him?
No.
I've dreamt of him, I think, every night, but, like, I will only remember seeing his face for a second or whatever, but
Yeah.
this day so the day before, or a couple of days before, I don't remember, I was like, I'm gonna ask for specific signs instead
Yeah.
of like whatever. And so I said, I would like to see a white Impala because that's what he drove. And then I told Bryson, I'm looking for a white Impala. And he goes, man, I would shit if we saw one with a missing front bumper because Jake's didn't have his front bumper because, he got in 2 wrecks. Um, and that day we were going to the cemetery, and right before we got to the cemetery, we saw a white Impala that first of all, let me back up. We saw an old-timey fucking Impala when we left our neighborhood on the
Which is
way to where we were
crazy.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, old-timey, which Jake would have fucking loved. I knew already we were gonna see the white one because I was like, I don't believe in coincidences, so I
Yeah.
know. So I was like, "Thank you, Jake," because also I want Bryson to get more experiences like this? So we see a white Impala, and I was like, "A white Impala!" And the car right behind it, also white. not an Impala, but it was
The
white. It was
bumper
a
was
Honda, which
missing.
Jake also loved, and the front bumper was missing. So that was really cool. And then, the next day or the day after, I took a nap and I had a dream about him, like, to where I could actually remember it, and most of it wasn't it was me trying to figure out, like, how he was like, because I wasn't in deep, deep sleep. So, it was almost lucid, but a lot of it was me trying to figure out I guess in some ways it makes sense now because this is the first time I'm really talking about it out loud, but I was trying to figure out if he was safe, and there was a lot of shit happening that, like, aren't relevant that I could dissect psychologically, but it was like, "What?" But I was just trying to understand how he was there. Like, it was really weird. And then some of it, he was talking to me, but he was saying the words that I could hear in a YouTube video that was playing, while I was asleep, so
Yeah.
that was funny. But I did remember him saying, like, he was okay, he wanted to make sure we were okay. There was like, just a worry about us, and he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to."
Yeah.
So, I thought but I was like and as I was waking up, I was, like, trying to figure out, like, why don't we get to have conversations like this more often? And even though when I woke up, I realized why, it's because 'cause he's gone. It's still like I had so much peace. Like, that dream carried me for, like, 3 days. Like, it felt so good. Like, even like, just being next to him, and he was laughing and smiling at one point and
Mm.
just being silly,
Yeah.
and so, like, I wasn't even, like, sad when I realized, well, now I remember why we can't talk like this every day, but it was really good. So I've had really good stuff like that happen. There's been stuff like just hearing mediums say shit that hurt my feelings and, just weird
Wait,
adjustment shit.
so you went to a medium?
No, no, no,
Oh.
watching TikTok videos. No,
Um,
I haven't seen a medium just because I don't wanna pay for it yet
uh,
because they expensive.
yeah. I think that will help too once you do
I
it.
do have a friend who's a medium who reached out not long after and said he's around and says he's okay. And, but I mean, that wasn't that helpful to me because I already felt that. Like,
Yeah.
his
Yeah, I
I
will
felt
say
peace
before you
from the
spend the
beginning.
money, like, I think you already have a connection with him and can receive his messages. It's just, I think because you're so close to it, sometimes you may be unsure or may not be
Yes.
receiving everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to be really tapped in so that when I feel like energy and things like that, that I can at least just sit and feel. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But, yeah, I think overall, okay. I think it's just the biggest problem I'm having right now truly is I don't have the energy or motivation to do things that I need to do to try to make money. And
yeah,
so I start to panic a little bit about that. Like and then like I have, some of the newer clients, I tried to see them this past week, and every one of them ended up canceling. So what the fuck? And I
yeah.
didn't want to see them anyway. So
I had a week like that. I had, like, a bunch of podcasts scheduled, and going into the week, I was like, "I don't wanna do any of these. I'm tired, I'm burned out," and most of them ended up canceling on me, and I was like, "I think this is happening for a reason." So, my point is, because I do this too, so I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, but you're not gonna be in the energy of making money if you're just not truly feeling it in your mind and body, you know?
yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why I like keep going to this like punishment reward situation where I'm like, surely to God, spirit understands I'm grieving. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what I'm
and
saying,
I
like,
can't be punished for fucking grieving. Come on.
yeah.
But what's crazy is I can get into a really good energy. Like, and I do. I'm even developing a stronger practice where I'm like, hey, how do you want to feel? And tapping into love.
Yeah.
Like oneness even. but it's not there all the time, and I do have to be intentional about it, but I am like, I am in a spirit of receivership right now, so if you could just send me shit to make my life easier that I'm not having to hustle for, don't wanna do stuff that makes me feel drained.
Yeah.
I wanna only do things that light me up.
Exactly what you're talking about before even explaining it. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm like, there are things I want to do. I want to speak. I want to do this. I don't fucking want to talk to people who aren't 100% committed to the process.
Yeah.
If you're committed, you're gonna light me up. So,
Right. Because it's
'cause
like
you're receiving.
yeah, because you're expending the energy, but it's worth it.
It's
Yeah.
not like I'm having a problem, like I don't wanna go do Uber Eats, and I don't want to do stuff that is a drain on me, like, because then I was dreading each of those interactions, and then they canceled last minute, and I'm like, I worked my ass off to get here, and you
Yeah.
couldn't show up." You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I do think it was for your li-
I think so
list.
too, but then because of that fucking Money Loves You Too book, I'm like, "Oh, did it happen because I was complaining?" Again, punishment. Is money
Yeah.
punishing me? It's hard. It's
It is
hard to
hard.
lose that. I I'm just gonna, because this is what I was doing before Jake died in terms of, like, growing my downloads and whatever, is just like, "No, I'm the creator, so I'm gonna believe, and fuck all that noise." I'm just gonna go back to that because I'm doing my best. That's all I can do is my
I was
best.
just gonna say, yeah. And you
It's hard.
I know, and I feel I, like, resonate with so much of what you're saying because I tend to, like, overanalyze every single thing, but it's like being in the energy of receiving or whatever, it doesn't mean you feel perfect all the time. It doesn't mean you, like, don't have these moments or even what you were saying before because you said what was the word you said? Like, you're being more irritable lately or something like that?
Agitated?
Agitated. Like, even that, as an outsider, I see that as a good thing because feeling agitated or angry feels better than sad and grieving, right? So that's even releasing you out of that grief for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. I'm once again, I'm resisting.
I know.
And I need to allow, you're right,
And I like
that's
and that's
actually a great
it's hard
point.
for me to say some of this stuff because I empathize with so much of what you're saying, so I feel like I'm preaching to the choir.
No, I get it. I mean, I have to hear those things though, because like I am trying to notice and allow more of what this natural grief process is and just be like, oh, this is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself because you're a human and you're allowed to have these experiences. So,
Yeah.
and I made a commitment that I'm willing to do this imperfectly. So, but I've just been in a little bit of a worse mood this last week. But I think not feeling well is a big part of that.
True.
So hopefully with movement, like my stomach does not, I'm hungry right now, so it's like a little but like it's not feeling like it was for the last few days. So I think with some good food and walking, like I just want some avocado so bad, and walking and getting sunshine today. And I got to remember to take my vitamins, that like that's the key.
I think that sounds like a good day.
Well, I hope you have a good day. The sun's out now.
I know. You got to see the sunrise, right?
Yeah, it was so dark when I was like, ooh, it's early.
Well, so good
Okay.
talking to you.
You too, honey bun. Have a great week.
Bye. Okay.